I've discovered something fascinating about personal growth. The moment you decide to truly change, to reshape your life into something better, wiser, stronger, something peculiar happens. Those around you start to react. Friends, family, coworkers. They all begin looking at you differently, wondering, what's gotten into him? Or, why isn't she acting the way she used to? And here's the surprising truth. They may never fully understand the new you. And that's perfectly okay. When I was a young man growing up in Idaho, working the fields and dreaming of a better life, I made a decision to shift my philosophy, to transform my thinking, and ultimately, my entire life. I remember returning home from my very first seminar, filled with excitement about new ideas and possibilities, only to face puzzled looks from those around me. They said, "Jim, what's gotten into you?" They couldn't understand why I suddenly wanted more, why I was no longer satisfied with things as they were. It wasn't their fault. They just couldn't see what I saw. And that's important to remember. Your vision isn't their vision. Your dreams aren't their dreams. What I've learned is this: when you step into a new chapter of life, when you dare to become more than you were yesterday, there will always be those who struggle with your new direction. They like the old you because the old you fit comfortably into their expectations. The old you didn't challenge their thinking. But as you grow, as you evolve, you naturally disrupt their familiar world, their confusion, their doubt, even their resistance. It's all natural. Your job isn't to convince them. Your job is simply to keep growing, keep striving, and keep living your truth. The rest will sort itself out in time. Have you ever noticed how people often react to change with suspicion? When you decide to eat healthier, some might tease you about it. When you start reading books about success or setting ambitious goals, others might question your motives or your sanity. Why is that? Well, it's because your growth makes them uncomfortable, not because you're doing anything wrong, but because your actions highlight their own unwillingness to change. They're suddenly reminded of opportunities they might have ignored, ambitions they might have abandoned, and that's uncomfortable. But let me tell you something powerful. Their discomfort isn't your responsibility. Your responsibility is to become the best version of yourself, regardless of who understands or who doesn't. I recall when I first began sharing new ideas about personal development with some of my closest friends. These were good people, mind you, hardworking, sincere, and honest. But when I started discussing my dreams of achieving financial freedom, traveling the world, and impacting lives through teaching and speaking, their faces would cloud with confusion. One even said, "Jim, why can't you just settle down and accept life as it is?" You see, my growth challenged their perspective. They saw ambition as something unsettling because it disrupted their comfort zones. And here's the lesson. Those who are most comfortable rarely understand those who seek growth. They're content in their familiar routines, their predictable results, and that's fine for them. But it wasn't fine for me. Maybe you've experienced this yourself. You announce your decision to pursue something greater, perhaps to start your own business, change your career, or simply improve your daily habits. And suddenly, people start offering unsolicited advice, warnings, or even criticism. It can feel isolating. But listen closely. You're not alone. Every person who's ever stepped out to achieve greatness has faced misunderstanding along the way. Every pioneer, every innovator, every great leader, they've all had moments when those around them simply couldn't grasp their vision. Remember, vision by its very nature is something deeply personal. It's something you see clearly long before others do. So don't expect immediate understanding. Expect questions. Expect doubts. Expect resistance. but never let those things deter you from moving forward. Here's something important to remember. People will often prefer the familiarity of your old limitations rather than the uncertainty of your new possibilities. They might not say it openly, but your growth can feel threatening, not because, they wish you harm, but because your transformation reminds them that they too have potential they aren't fully utilizing. Your willingness to grow shines a bright light on their own reluctance to change. And that's uncomfortable. It's unsettling, but it's also necessary. Your example might be the very thing that eventually inspires them, even if they don't see it yet. And even if it never inspires them, it's still worth doing for you, for your future, and for those you haven't even met yet, who will someday be influenced by your courage. Understand clearly, you are not obligated to remain who you used to be. You are allowed to evolve, to redefine your goals, your values, and your priorities. The price of growth is often misunderstanding, but that's a price worth paying. Think about history's greatest figures, the inventors, thinkers, entrepreneurs, and leaders. Do you think everyone understood their visions when they began? Do you believe their friends and family immediately saw the genius of their ideas? No, not at first. Often these visionaries stood alone, at least in the beginning. They were misunderstood, questioned, even ridiculed. But today, we celebrate their accomplishments precisely because they dared to continue, even when no one else understood. Your transformation may be challenging, but it's also essential. You weren't created to fit neatly into other people's expectations. You were created to grow, to expand, to reach for something greater. Embrace the misunderstandings as a natural part of the process. Accept them as confirmation you're truly changing. And most importantly, keep moving forward. Because your future, your dreams, your potential, they're waiting for you on the other side of misunderstanding. When you begin the journey toward personal growth, you'll quickly notice something profound. The conversations around you start to shift. You're no longer discussing complaints or limitations. Instead, you're discussing possibilities, ideas, and ambitions. For some, this change in conversation feels strange, unfamiliar. They were comfortable talking about what's wrong with life, what's unfair or impossible. But when you start talking about solutions, opportunities, and potential, it challenges their way of thinking. And sometimes, instead of rising with you, they'd prefer to pull you back down to familiar ground. This is precisely why it's essential for you to remain strong in your resolve. Never apologize for growing. Never apologize for striving toward greater things. Remember, the greatest favor you can do for those around you isn't to remain the same. It's to become an example of what's possible. When you embrace growth, even if others resist initially, you're providing a living demonstration of what life can offer. And though they may not immediately understand or accept it, you're planting seeds. I remember a mentor of mine once sharing a powerful insight. He said, "Jim, when you grow taller, you inevitably cast a shadow. And sometimes the people who once stood comfortably beside you will find themselves in that shadow. Not because you meant to cast darkness, but simply because you chose to reach toward the sun. This is a truth you must accept on your journey. Growth has consequences. But those consequences shouldn't stop you. They should inspire you. You see, people tend to respond to your personal evolution in one of two ways. They become inspired or they feel threatened. Those who feel inspired will see your growth as proof that change is possible. They'll watch you and start believing, maybe even for the first time, that they can transform their own lives. But those who feel threatened often interpret your success as their own failure. They mistakenly believe your improvement highlights their inadequacies. This, of course, is never your intent, but you can't control their perceptions. Your only responsibility is to continue on your path, committed to your truth. Consider history's greatest achievers. Did they pause to ensure everyone understood their vision before they moved forward? Rarely. Did they wait for approval, validation, or universal acceptance? Not likely. They acted because they knew their calling was greater than the immediate opinions of those around them. They pursued their dreams despite misunderstanding, resistance, and doubt because they understood something critical. The reward of becoming your true self far outweighs the temporary discomfort of being misunderstood. Here's something I want you to remember clearly. When people say you've changed, they rarely mean it as praise. Often, what they really mean is, you're no longer fitting into the comfortable box I built for you. And you know what? That's perfectly okay. You're not supposed to fit into a box. You're not meant to remain limited by someone else's expectations or definitions. Life rewards those who have the courage to break free from the familiar, to explore, to innovate, to dream boldly, even at the risk of misunderstanding. One of the greatest lessons I've ever learned is that your life will inevitably reflect your philosophy. If your philosophy says, stay comfortable, you'll likely remain stagnant, predictable, and unchanged. But if your philosophy says, grow, explore, strive, you'll inevitably disrupt not only your own comfort, but also the comfort of those around you. That disruption isn't negative. It's transformative. It's a sign you're moving forward. So the next time someone says you've changed, I want you to smile. Smile because it means you're making progress. Smile because it means your life is becoming a reflection of growth, ambition, and possibility. And most importantly, smile because their recognition, even if given begrudgingly, is proof you're not the same person you once were. Yes, people may misunderstand the new you. They may not grasp why you're reading those books, setting those goals, or pursuing those dreams. But here's a powerful thought. Their misunderstanding today often becomes their admiration tomorrow. The very people who question your choices now might someday be the first to say, I always knew you could do it, once your success becomes undeniable. So don't allow today's doubts to steal tomorrow's triumph. Stay true to your journey. Stay loyal to your vision. Keep growing, even if they don't yet understand. Because at the end of the day, your responsibility isn't to explain yourself to the world. Your responsibility is to fully realize the incredible potential within you. Your growth matters. Your dreams matter. And the truth is, it's perfectly okay if they never fully understand the new you. Because ultimately, the only person who truly needs to understand and accept who you're becoming is you. When I first committed to personal growth, I quickly realized a fascinating truth. You can't expect others to immediately celebrate your evolution. In fact, some might openly resist it. You might hear them say things like, Yom, you're just not the same anymore, as if that's something to be concerned about. But why would you want to remain exactly the same? Isn't the whole point of living to grow, to change, to continually become more than you were yesterday? Think about it this way. The caterpillar becomes the butterfly. Can you imagine other caterpillars saying, you've changed? Well, of course it's changed. It's grown wings. It can now fly. Yet in your own life, when you start to develop your own wings, when you begin to soar above your old limitations, those around you might not immediately see the beauty of that transformation. Instead, they'll see that you're no longer crawling. They'll notice you no longer share the same limitations, and they might feel left behind. But remember, Your growth doesn't diminish anyone else. It simply reveals what's possible when you dare to pursue your true potential. I had a friend many years ago who simply couldn't accept the changes I was making. Every time we'd talk, he'd gently remind me, "Jim, don't forget where you came from." And you know what? I never forgot where I came from. But I also knew clearly where I was headed. Sometimes people want you to remain loyal to your past self, not because it benefits you, but because it makes them comfortable. But life isn't about making others comfortable with your choices. Life is about fulfilling your unique purpose, no matter how uncomfortable it might make others feel. Here's something else to keep in mind. Your growth will naturally lead you to new relationships and new circles of influence. It's not about abandoning old friends. It's about discovering new connections that align with your vision. The friendships you make as you continue to grow are often deeper, richer, and more meaningful because they're built upon shared ambition, shared philosophy, and shared goals. You'll find people who encourage your dreams, who challenge your limits, and who inspire you to become even better. But to reach those new relationships, you must first be willing to move beyond the familiar, even if it means temporary isolation. Consider this carefully. Your willingness to endure temporary misunderstanding today can create lasting inspiration tomorrow. The example you set by continuing forward, even when others don't understand, can be incredibly powerful. Think of the people who've inspired you. At some point, each of them faced misunderstanding. They faced doubt, criticism, even isolation, yet they pressed on anyway. And because of their courage, they eventually inspired you and countless others. Imagine now being that same source of inspiration for someone else in the future. Imagine your story becoming the reason someone else finds the courage to pursue their dreams, despite the doubts of those around them. You know, sometimes the path toward growth can be lonely. It can feel as if you're traveling a road that others simply can't see. But loneliness on the path of growth isn't permanent. It's temporary. It's a bridge between the old you and the new you. Eventually, others who are also traveling this path will appear beside you. They'll recognize your journey, they'll understand your struggle, and they'll celebrate your progress. The initial discomfort and misunderstanding are merely part of the process. A small price for the incredible rewards of personal evolution. Now, let me share another powerful idea with you. Your journey towards self-improvement isn't just about achieving your personal goals. It's also about becoming the person capable of achieving those goals. It's about developing discipline, resilience, courage, and strength of character. And often these qualities emerge precisely because you had to navigate misunderstanding and resistance. When people don't understand you, it forces you to clarify your beliefs, to refine your purpose, and to strengthen your resolve. Their questions and criticisms become the very tools you use to build an unshakable foundation for your success. Remember clearly, growth often begins with discomfort. It starts with the realization that where you are isn't where you want to remain. It involves facing uncertainty, risking criticism, and accepting misunderstanding. But on the other side of that discomfort lies fulfillment, achievement, and lasting success. It's a journey worth taking, even if others can't yet see why you're doing it. Trust yourself, trust your vision, trust your dreams, because eventually your life will become the clearest explanation anyone could ever need. Your transformation, your growth, isn't merely about changing what you do. It's about changing who you become. And here's the fascinating thing. When you commit to becoming a new and improved version of yourself, your actions, your habits, Your entire way of being begins to shift. People can't help but notice. Some will cheer you on, inspired by your courage, while others might quietly question your sanity. But understand this clearly. Your goal isn't universal approval. Your goal is personal fulfillment, authentic success, and lasting impact. There's a powerful idea I learned early in my journey. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Have you heard that before? Well, here's why it's important. When you begin to change, when you start evolving towards something better, wiser, and stronger, it's natural that your circle of influence begins to change as well. Some friendships may naturally drift apart, not because anyone did anything wrong, but simply because your paths have begun to diverge. Many years ago, as I began to pursue speaking and personal development seriously, I noticed something interesting. The people I used to spend time with, those comfortable discussing problems rather than solutions, gradually stopped seeking me out. Not because I pushed them away, but because my energy, my conversations, and my ambitions no longer resonated with them. And as these old relationships faded, new relationships blossomed. Relationships with people who valued growth, ambition, positivity, and possibility. You might face moments where you question yourself, moments where you wonder if the discomfort of misunderstanding is really worth it. Let me reassure you, it absolutely is. Because here's the truth. Temporary discomfort always precedes lasting growth. The most powerful changes you'll ever make usually come packaged in moments of doubt, uncertainty, and resistance from others. But if you stay committed, if you remain true to your vision, those moments of discomfort will transform into powerful stories of triumph. I recall clearly when I first shared with my family that I wanted to become a speaker and travel the world, influencing lives through my seminars. Their reactions varied from skeptical smiles to outright disbelief. But here's the critical thing I had to remember. Their reactions had nothing to do with my capability and everything to do with their perspective. They couldn't see the possibilities I saw because they weren't standing where I stood. They weren't feeling the drive, the vision, or the passion that I was feeling. And that's perfectly okay. It wasn't their dream, it was mine. It wasn't their purpose, it was mine. You see, sometimes you must simply accept that your vision won't immediately make sense to everyone. And here's the beauty of it. It doesn't have to. The power of your dreams, the strength of your ambition isn't diminished just because someone else can't yet comprehend it. The only validation you need is your own conviction, your own determination to see your vision through, despite any misunderstanding or doubt you might face. Let me share a thought that has guided me for many years. You can't always control how others perceive your growth, but you can always control your commitment to it. So, their perceptions, opinions, and judgments are temporary. Your commitment to growth, however, can be permanent. It can be unwavering. It can define who you become and how you live your life. At some point, you might find yourself standing at a crossroads, faced with the choice between conforming to the expectations of those around you or boldly stepping forward into the life you envision for yourself. In those moments, remind yourself clearly, conformity may bring comfort, but courage brings fulfillment. Choosing the familiar path may avoid temporary criticism, but choosing your authentic path ensures lasting meaning, purpose, and success. Remember, every significant figure in history, every leader, every pioneer, every visionary, faced misunderstanding when they first embarked on their journey. The Wright brothers were told flight was impossible. Thomas Edison faced relentless criticism for his seemingly endless failures. Henry Ford was mocked for his dream of affordable automobiles for everyone. Yet each of these individuals chose to persist despite the misunderstanding and doubts of others. And today we celebrate their courage, their resilience, their unwavering commitment to their vision. Your story isn't any different. You have a purpose, a calling, a unique potential waiting to be realized. Misunderstanding is merely evidence that you're challenging expectations, that you're stepping beyond the familiar into the extraordinary. Embrace it, celebrate it, let it fuel you rather than discourage you. Ultimately, the people who truly matter in your life, the ones who genuinely care for you, will eventually understand, or at least accept, your transformation. And even if they don't, the satisfaction, fulfillment, and joy you gain from living an authentic life will far outweigh any temporary misunderstanding. So I encourage you today, don't shrink back. Don't limit yourself to comfort just to avoid the confusion or resistance of others. Embrace your vision boldly. Pursue your dreams fearlessly. Trust yourself. Trust your path. And above all, trust that even though they might not understand the new you today, eventually, your courage will speak louder than any explanation ever could. Trust yourself. Trust your path. And above all, trust that even though they might not understand the new you today, eventually, your courage will speak louder than any explanation ever could. As you embrace your new identity, your new habits, and your new direction, you'll inevitably discover that your priorities shift in powerful ways. Things that once seemed important lose their significance, and new passions begin to emerge. Maybe you'll find yourself choosing personal growth seminars over late-night gatherings, or reading insightful books instead of engaging in gossip and negativity. These choices, subtle as they may seem, profoundly impact your trajectory, reshaping your future one small decision at a time. Now, this shift might cause friction with people who expect you to remain exactly as you've always been. Friends might ask, "Why don't you spend time with us anymore?" Or family members might wonder, "Why is this so important to you now?" In these moments, remind yourself clearly, it's not your responsibility to fit their expectations. Your true responsibility is to honor your journey, to respect your vision, and to live authentically according to your values, not theirs. I learned early on that the discomfort of others shouldn't derail my progress. There was a time when friends couldn't understand why I chose to spend weekends studying personal development instead of enjoying leisure. They viewed my decisions as sacrifices, while I saw them as necessary investments in the person I was becoming. Eventually, my consistent commitment paid off in ways they couldn't foresee, and it opened their eyes. But until then, I had to endure their doubts, their skepticism, even their gentle mockery, and you might have to endure similar challenges as well. Understand clearly, the early stages of transformation often feel lonely, not because you're making a mistake, but precisely because you're making progress. It's a temporary condition, a bridge between who you once were and who you're becoming. Soon enough, others who share your ambitions, your mindset, and your philosophy will naturally enter your life. They'll see your vision and celebrate it. Until then, stay strong, stay determined, and trust the process. Your example, the very act of choosing to grow despite misunderstanding, can eventually become a powerful inspiration to others. Even those who currently question your decisions might one day look at your life and say, because you did it, I now believe I can too. Never underestimate the influence of your courage. People may doubt your words initially, but they'll never be able to doubt your results. Here's a truth you must keep close to your heart. You cannot reach your fullest potential while simultaneously seeking approval from everyone around you. Approval and greatness rarely coexist. You must choose your path clearly, either the comfort of being universally understood or the fulfillment of becoming truly exceptional. And let me assure you, choosing greatness, even with the cost of temporary misunderstanding, is always worth it. Consider your favorite role models, the people whose lives and achievements deeply inspire you. Did they become who they are by avoiding misunderstanding? Of course not. Each of them faced criticism, skepticism, and doubt. Yet, they pressed on because their purpose was clearer and stronger than the voices of opposition. They understood clearly that temporary misunderstanding is a small price to pay for lasting impact, fulfillment, and legacy. As you continue growing, you'll realize that some people aren't capable of understanding your vision simply because it extends beyond their current perspective. You see further, you dream bigger, you think differently. Not because you're superior, but because you've chosen growth over comfort. Recognize that it's not arrogance, it's ambition. It's not stubbornness, it's clarity of purpose. Your commitment to growth isn't a criticism of others, it's a celebration of your potential. So embrace the new you fully. Accept that not everyone will immediately applaud your changes. But remember clearly, applause isn't your primary goal. Authenticity is. As you stay true to your path, true to your vision, and true to the incredible person you're becoming, you'll eventually discover others who deeply resonate with your journey. They'll recognize your courage, appreciate your values, and encourage your continued growth. Most importantly, though, realize this. Even if they never understand, even if they never fully appreciate your transformation, your journey still matters deeply. It matters because it's yours. Your life isn't meant to be lived according to someone else's comfort zone. It's meant to reflect your deepest beliefs, your greatest dreams, your highest aspirations. Misunderstanding from others isn't a signal that you're on the wrong path. It's often proof that you're on exactly the right one. Hold fast to this truth as you continue your journey. The greatest gift you can give to the world is your authentic self, the fully realized, bravely expressed version of you. Even if others don't immediately understand this new version of you, continue boldly, continue courageously, because ultimately, the only person whose approval you truly require is your own. And once you have that, nothing can stand in your way. That's the problem with relying on a good mood. It's unpredictable. And if your strategy for success depends on how you feel, then your results will always be inconsistent. High when you're feeling it, low when you're not. You'll work hard one day, disappear the next. You'll start strong, but rarely finish. The pattern doesn't change until the strategy does. So let's make something clear from the very beginning. If you want to build a life that lasts, one filled with meaningful results, you need a strategy stronger than your emotions. You need a structure that holds you steady when your feelings shift. Because feelings will always shift. Some days you'll feel ready, some days you won't. But the work still matters either way. And here's what I've seen over the years. The people who consistently win in life aren't the ones with the best talent or the most excitement. They're the ones with the strongest systems. They're not waiting to feel motivated. They don't need perfect conditions. They've built a schedule, a structure, a set of habits that carry them through both the high energy days and the low ones. They've trained themselves to show up regardless of mood. Think about this. What would your life look like if your effort didn't depend on emotion? If your follow-through wasn't controlled by how inspired you felt, but by the strength of your structure? What would change if your consistency came from commitment, not chemistry? That's the shift we're going to explore in this seminar. Because moods are unreliable, feelings change. But discipline can be built, structure can be created, habits can be designed. And when those things are in place, your life stops running on feelings and starts running on principles. You stop waiting for the right mood and you start creating the right environment. You stop waiting for motivation and you start relying on momentum. Over the course of this seminar, we're going to break this down. We'll talk about why mood-based action fails, how discipline carries you when feelings disappear, how to build systems that protect your habits, and how those habits reshape your identity, day by day, choice by choice. And by the end, you'll have something stronger than motivation. You'll have a framework for action that doesn't bend to your emotions. Because that's the goal here. Not to live on the good days, but to build a life that works even on the hard ones. Not to chase highs, but to build depth. Not to wait for the perfect moment, but to create consistent movement. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be ready. And readiness doesn't come from mood. It comes from preparation, from structure, and from disciplined living. So if you've been waiting for the right mood, the right energy, or the right timing, this is where that ends. Today, we start something better. Mood-based action feels good in the beginning. It gives you that rush of energy, that initial burst of momentum. You start the workout, you clean the room, you write the plan. And in the moment, it feels powerful, like you finally figured it out. But here's what happens next. That same energy isn't there tomorrow. The excitement fades. The conditions shift. You don't feel like it anymore. And because the feeling is gone, the action disappears with it. That's the trap. When your effort depends on how you feel, your progress becomes unreliable. You're productive one day, passive the next. Focused one moment, distracted the next. You swing from all in to not at all, and over time, that kind of inconsistency costs you everything. You start strong, you stop, you start again, and eventually you get tired of starting over. The truth is, when you only move in the direction of your emotions, you never build momentum. You build hesitation, you build doubt. You start to lose confidence in yourself, not because you lack ability, but because you can't trust your own follow-through. And that's a dangerous place to be. Once you stop trusting yourself, even the smallest goals begin to feel impossible. Think about how many times you've made a commitment on a good day. You said you'd eat better, work out consistently, manage your time more wisely, and for a few days, maybe even a few weeks, you stuck with it. But then the mood shifted. Life got busy. The feelings changed. And suddenly that commitment started to fade. Not because the goal changed, but because the energy that launched it disappeared. And the worst part? You start to believe that your problem is commitment, when in reality it's just consistency. You don't need more inspiration. You need a better anchor, a structure that holds you to the standard you set, especially when you no longer feel like keeping it. Because if your strategy is based on being in the right mood, you'll lose the moment your emotions change. Now look closer. The most important things in your life, your health, your relationships, your work, do not respond well to emotional inconsistency. They don't grow just because you feel like showing up once in a while. They grow because you show up regularly. They respond to repetition, to discipline, to presence, not to mood swings. You've probably experienced this in your own routines. That diet that works great, until the weekend hits. That new schedule that feels solid until stress enters the picture. That project you're passionate about until the excitement wears off. What's happening there isn't failure. It's strategy breakdown. You're still relying on good moods to drive you instead of letting commitment carry the weight. Here's what happens. When mood drives action, you become a slave to your emotions. And emotions are temporary. They shift with the weather. They swing with circumstances. They rise and fall without warning. And if you allow those swings to dictate your progress, your results will always be up and down, start and stop, forward and backward. That's not growth. That's exhaustion. You can't build something lasting on a foundation that moves. You need something stable, something that doesn't bend every time your energy does. That's what discipline is for. That's what systems are for. They don't eliminate emotion. They just protect you from being controlled by it. And that's where we're headed next. Because once you understand that emotion is a poor strategy, you're ready to build something stronger, a rhythm, a structure, a way of living that doesn't require the perfect mood to get started. Just the decision to keep going. Discipline is what's left when the excitement is gone. When the feeling wears off, when the mood disappears and there's nothing left but the decision you made, that's where discipline steps in. It doesn't ask how you feel. It doesn't wait for permission. It simply remembers what you said you'd do and gets to work. People think discipline is about restriction, about limitation, but they've got it backwards. Discipline is freedom, freedom from chaos, freedom from regret, freedom from the cycle of starting and stopping over and over again. Discipline frees you from being ruled by emotion because it gives you something steady to hold on to. Something that doesn't shift just because your mood does. You've probably seen it before. Someone who shows up like clockwork. Doesn't matter if it's raining or sunny. Doesn't matter if they're tired or energized. They just show up day after day. You might think they're lucky or that they've got more motivation than you. But chances are it's not motivation at all. It's discipline. It's a decision they've already made and a structure that makes that decision easy to follow through on. And here's the key. Discipline doesn't need to be dramatic. It just needs to be dependable. It's not about doing big things. It's about doing the right things, even when they feel small, even when no one is watching. Discipline is brushing your teeth every night. It's showing up to your workout, even if it's only for 20 minutes. It's keeping your promises to yourself, even when there's no reward for it today. That's where confidence comes from. Not from hype or emotion or perfect circumstances, but from proof. When you consistently follow through on your commitments, even when the mood fades, you start to believe in yourself in a way that can't be faked. You trust yourself, not because you always feel good, but because you always follow through. Discipline isn't about pushing harder all the time. It's about having a rhythm you can rely on. It's about creating routines so solid you don't have to think about them anymore. The alarm goes off and you get up. The calendar says workout and you move. The clock hits your reading time and you open the book. It becomes automatic, not because it's easy, but because it's practiced. Think about how different your life would be if the hard things no longer required a battle every time. If they were just part of your rhythm, not something you debate, but something you do. That's the gift of discipline. It simplifies your life. It removes the emotional negotiation. It lets you move forward without having to feel ready every time. You don't need to wake up with fire in your belly every morning. You just need a structure that works and the commitment to follow it. And yes, some days will feel slow. Some days will feel heavy. But if your discipline is in place, you'll move anyway. And those are the days that count the most. The days you didn't want to show up, but did anyway. Because discipline is the real engine of progress. Motivation starts the engine, but discipline keeps the wheels turning. Without it, you stall. With it, you build momentum, even on the days when everything feels off, even when the feeling is gone. That's why discipline always outlasts mood. And once discipline becomes part of your lifestyle, something else starts to form around it. Something even more reliable. Systems, routines, structures that don't just hold your habits together, but carry them forward. And that's where we're going next. Because discipline is powerful. But systems are what make discipline sustainable. Discipline will carry you far, but if you want to go the distance, you need systems. Discipline is the decision to show up. Systems are what make that decision easier to repeat. Without systems, discipline becomes exhausting. You're constantly deciding, constantly managing, constantly forcing yourself to follow through. But when you have systems in place, the decision is already made. You don't have to think, you just execute. That's the beauty of a well-built system. It removes friction. It reduces effort. It protects your progress by giving your actions a natural rhythm. You don't have to rely on willpower every day because your environment, your structure, and your schedule are already doing the heavy lifting. Think about how most people operate. They start the day with good intentions, but no real plan. They hope they'll have time, hope they'll remember what matters, hope they'll feel motivated. But hope is not a strategy. And without a system, every task becomes a negotiation. Every habit becomes a debate. And eventually, the emotional resistance wears them down. But now imagine a different scenario. You wake up and your morning routine is already laid out. Your workout clothes are waiting. Your tasks are written down. Your meals are prepped. Your calendar blocks are clear. There's no decision to make. Just steps to follow. That's the power of a system. It removes the need to feel motivated because the structure makes it easier to act. Systems don't have to be complicated. In fact, the best ones are simple. They're repeatable, sustainable, easy to maintain. It might be a checklist you use every evening, a time block on your calendar, or a rule that says no TV before 10 a.m. or workout before breakfast. These small rules create a bigger rhythm, and that rhythm creates momentum. Now, here's what makes systems so valuable. They protect you from inconsistency. On a high-energy day, your system keeps you focused. On a low-energy day, your system keeps you moving. It doesn't care how you feel. It just carries the routine forward. And the more consistently you follow it, the stronger it becomes. People often think success requires more effort, but what it really requires is less decision-making. Systems do that. They simplify your day by reducing choices. They free up your mind to focus on what matters. You no longer spend your mornings asking what you should do today. You already know. The system tells you. And that kind of clarity is priceless. You've probably experienced this yourself. Think about the days where you had structure, when your schedule was clear and your tasks were lined up. You got more done, felt more focused, and finished the day with a sense of control. That's not luck. That's structure doing its job. Now imagine living like that every day, not just once in a while. That's what systems make possible. And here's another benefit. Systems remove emotion from the equation. They don't ask how you feel. They don't check your mood. They simply present the next step. You're no longer reacting to how you feel in the moment. You're following a path you've already chosen. And that kind of stability leads to results. Predictable, consistent, meaningful results. Start building systems into your life that match your goals. If you want to write more, set a time block every morning. If you want to eat better, prep your meals in advance. If you want to read daily, Place a book beside your bed. Let the system carry you when motivation doesn't show up. Let structure become your default setting. Because the more you rely on systems, the less you have to rely on willpower. And that's the shift. You're not depending on mood anymore. You're depending on rhythm, on flow, on structure that holds up even when the day doesn't go your way. Eventually, the system itself becomes part of who you are. The structure becomes second nature. And from there, something powerful starts to take shape, your identity. Because the more consistently you follow your systems, the more you start to believe something new about yourself. And that belief, that's what lasts. The way you see yourself isn't shaped by what you say. It's shaped by what you do, especially on the days when it's hard. The days you don't feel like it. The days no one would blame you for skipping. Those are the moments that define your identity. Because when you show up anyway, when you do the thing, even when it's inconvenient, you're telling yourself something important. I'm someone who follows through. That kind of message goes deeper than motivation. It builds trust. And once you trust yourself, everything changes. You stop wondering if you'll stick with it. You stop hoping that you'll stay consistent. You just do. Not because it's easy, but because it's who you are now. But here's the truth. Most people only show up when it's convenient, when the schedule is clear, when they're well rested, when they feel inspired. And because of that, their identity stays fragile. They don't know who they are under pressure. They don't know who they are when it's uncomfortable. They haven't proven it to themselves yet. That's why the hard days matter so much. Not because they're fun, not because they're impressive, but because they give you a chance to send a stronger signal, a deeper message. Every time you follow through on a tough day, you're reinforcing the kind of person you want to become. And eventually, that identity sticks. Think about it. What do you believe about yourself right now? That you're disciplined or inconsistent? That you follow through? Or that you give up too easily? That belief didn't come from thin air. It came from repeated evidence. Your identity is built from your track record, your habits, your history. But the good news is this: you can rewrite that track record starting today. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be intense. You just have to be consistent. Every time you show up, when it would have been easier to skip, you're rewriting the story. You're becoming someone new. And that kind of transformation doesn't require anyone's permission. It just requires repetition. Most people try to fix how they feel about themselves by reading more books, listening to more audio tapes, consuming more ideas. But identity doesn't change through information. It changes through action, through evidence. You can't think your way into confidence. You have to earn it. And you earn it by showing up when it's hard. Confidence doesn't come from talking yourself into a better mood. It comes from action, from doing the thing you said you would do, especially when it's inconvenient. It comes from looking back at your last 10 days and realizing you followed through on 9 of them. Not because you felt amazing, but because you were committed. And once that identity sets in, everything changes. You don't have to battle your own excuses as often. You don't have to wonder if you'll keep going. You just keep going because that's who you are now. The identity becomes automatic, natural. It's not something you're forcing anymore. It's something you're living. So here's the shift. Stop trying to feel different before you act. Start acting in alignment with the person you want to become. If you want to be reliable, show up today. If you want to be focused, follow through today. If you want to be disciplined, do the work today. Your identity isn't waiting for you at the finish line. It's being built in real time, right now, through what you choose to do. And once that identity is built, something interesting happens. You stop needing the mood. You stop depending on the perfect circumstances, because now showing up doesn't feel like pressure. It feels like alignment. It feels like home. You don't have to convince yourself anymore. You just live it. It's great when you're in a good mood, when the energy is there, when the music hits right, the coffee's strong, the weather's perfect, and everything just flows. But here's what you have to decide. Are you going to build your life around those rare moments? Or are you going to build a system that works no matter what? Because moods come and go. They always have. And if your consistency is tied to your emotional state, then your progress will always be fragile. It'll rise when your energy is high and collapse when it dips. That's not a strategy. That's a roller coaster. And you weren't meant to live at the mercy of emotional weather. It's time to reframe how you see mood, not as fuel, but as bonus. Not as a requirement, but as a luxury. If it shows up, great, use it. Ride the wave, push harder. But if it doesn't, you still show up. You still execute. Because your system doesn't need your feelings to cooperate. It just needs your commitment. That's the level you want to reach, where action doesn't wait on inspiration, where decisions don't get postponed until your energy returns, where movement is the default, regardless of how you feel. And that's not called a robotic. That's power. That's freedom. That's what it looks like to live by principle, not pressure. The people who consistently win aren't riding the high of emotion every day. Most of the time, they're doing what needs to be done without a spark of inspiration, because they've built structure, because they've trained consistency, because they've accepted something most people avoid. Success is boring sometimes. It's repetitive. It's routine, but it works. You don't need to feel like it to be effective. You don't need fire in your belly to keep moving forward. You just need a system strong enough to carry you. You need a standard that doesn't drop every time your energy does. And once you have that, the pressure to always be on disappears. You're not chasing moods anymore. You're anchored in discipline. Start seeing your habits as non-negotiable. Not because you always feel like doing them, but because they're part of your standard. They're part of how you live now. You don't brush your teeth because you're motivated. You do it because it's just what you do. That's the level you build toward, where the important things in your life are automatic, not emotional. And here's the bonus. When the mood does show up, you're already moving. You're not using that good energy to get started. You're using it to go further. You're stacking motivation on top of momentum. And that's when things take off. Because now your emotional highs are building on something stable, not trying to carry something fragile. That's what separates the people who dabble from the ones who dominate. They're not better. They're not luckier. They're just more consistent. They've stopped making emotion a requirement. They've stopped asking whether they feel like it and started saying it's what they do. And that shift right there is everything. So let mood be what it is. A bonus, a gift, a nice boost when it shows up. But never let it be the condition. Never let it be the requirement. Build a structure that moves with or without it. Build a system that keeps going, whether you feel like it or not. And soon you'll realize you never needed the mood. You just needed the structure. You've seen it now. Why mood alone doesn't work. Why relying on energy and inspiration leads to inconsistency. And why real progress requires something stronger. Structure, discipline, systems that don't bend when your emotions shift. Habits that stay standing when the mood disappears. Because the truth is simple. The life you want isn't built on how you feel. It's built on what you do, over and over, on the good days and the hard ones, when it's exciting and when it's boring, when you feel on top of the world and when you'd rather disappear. You don't need to wake up with fire in your chest. You don't need to be in the perfect headspace. You just need to show up. Let your habits carry the weight. Let your structure do the heavy lifting. And let your consistency prove that you're becoming someone who follows through.